If you come up here to labels now, basically labels are things that you can give to, you can assign them to different documents. Now obviously you can rename these. So if you wanted to rename red, you could, and then every time a file, let's see, we'll open up this file, for example. If you right click or you control click, then it's going to give you this little menu here. You can actually label the different files with different colors, and then the colors can be correspondent to something, you know, maybe a project is all under red, or maybe the most important files or things that you need to get done are red, and you can change that to, you know, important. And then you'll know next time that, you know, any files that are labeled with red are important. So change that back. Get rid of that label. You can also label them. You can label them any color that you want. You can label any program or file, so, or even folder. So we're going to close that. So those are labels. Your sidebar. Okay. Again, your sidebar. Basically, if you open up a Finder window, your sidebar corresponds to this area over here. If you look, all the same things that are here are over here, with the exception of maybe some connected servers or Bonjour components, things of that nature may not be over here for you. But you can go ahead and take these certain things off. You can click off the iDisk if you want. You can click off external disks, and you'll notice those go away. Hard disks, then you can't get to any of those. You can click off your home folder. You can click off the desktop, obviously, if you don't want that use to be on there. And you can also rearrange these. This is something else that I didn't mention earlier. You can click on these and hold them and drag them around, and then just drop them into the place that you want. You'll see everything else kind of shifts around and makes room for them. So that may be something that you're interested in doing. But again, we'll get into the search folders. If you go to Advanced, some of these are a little bit more not recommended, I guess. Like I wouldn't probably recommend, if you're new to your computer, I probably wouldn't recommend doing things like show all file names, because, or file name extensions, because then you could change something and it actually wouldn't open properly anymore. You can change whether it shows you a warning before changing an extension, which I would recommend for new or unexperienced users to keep that ticked. Or show warning before emptying the trash, so that when you empty the trash, it's actually going to ask you, are you sure you want to empty? Empty trash securely actually gets rid of everything so that it can't be recovered. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you throw something in the trash, even after you get rid of it out of the trash, it is still located on your hard drive until something else writes over the top of it. Empty trash securely, basically what that does is it empties the trash, it gets rid of the file, but then it writes over that file with a series of 0 and 1s so that it can't be accessed ever again. When performing a search, search this Mac, search current folder, or use previous search scope. We'll get into this at a later point too. This is going to be a big part of the search area. So that's Finder preferences. Back up to File, you can open a new folder, or a new Finder folder. You can make a new folder. You can make a Smart folder, which we'll get into. A Burn folder, again, we'll get into that. These open up if you have different programs open, not just Finder. Get info is getting info about certain things, so we'll do this. Should just keep this folder open, obviously. If you click on About Stacks, highlight it, and you go to File and Get Info, it'll tell you all about that document. It'll tell you what kind of document it is, the size, where it's located, when it was created, when it was last modified. There's a lot of information here, and you can click on that and find out all the information that you want to know. It even gives you the sizes, dimensions of the actual document. So that's get info. Compress would be to take a lot of different files and actually compress them into one file. It puts them in what they call a zip. You can duplicate files. Making aliases or shortcuts. We'll show you how to do that at a later point. Quick look. Quick look is much like preview, really. We'll get into that. Show original. Not positive on show original. I've never actually used that, to be honest with you. You can add to sidebar here. So if you had about stacks checked and you click to add to sidebar, it goes into your sidebar. So there it is. Alright, I'm going to take that out. That's another thing too. If you wanted to, we're going to drag documents out of there to show you how. Basically, you click on it and pull it off to the side, or even over here, doesn't matter which way, and you release, and it actually gets rid of it. So you can shorten things up that way too if you didn't want to go into the whole, unchecking what's going to be in your sidebar. I'm going to show you a little trick too that a lot of people don't realize. This up here is actually an icon as well, and it can be moved around, and I want to replace that obviously. So if you click in this little folder here and you drag, you can actually drag that in. This is a little different. It's not making room for it. It shows you this little blue area. If you were to place it when it shows over the top of it, it's going to place the actual shortcut in the desktop. Oh, we just had the spring-loaded action happen. If you look at it when it has this section here, like the little circle with a line, that's actually the area where it's going to go between. So we're going to drop it down there, and there's documents. Move to trash. Eject would be if you had a disk or a drive or anything, hooked up to the computer and you wanted to remove it safely. You would hit eject. Burn desktop to a disk. This is burning individual files and folders onto a CD or DVD. Find is a search. Label again. Edit, undo, redo. Cut, copy, paste, and select all. Your clipboard. So anytime that you make a cut or a copy, it actually goes to a clipboard, and your clipboard allows you to view the different things that you've cut and copied. And special characters, we're going to get into that. That's a whole other piece of software. These are different view options. You can view as icons, view as lists, view as columns, or view as cover flow. And we'll go into that real quick. So if we go to view, this is the icon view right now. We'll go to list. You can see that it changes and gives you a little bit more information along the side. Columns. Basically what this does is it gives you your first column, is your first folder in the hierarchy if you have multiple folders. You can click there and it opens up the second folder here in Soundbooth, or in Adobe, which is Soundbooth, and then in Soundbooth there's a folder 2.0, and then nothing actually in there, but you can see how that works, and it'll just keep going across until you get to the final area. Or as cover flow. Cover flow basically, we'll get into this quite a bit too, but this is basically, it gives you a large view of the files or folders that you're looking at. But that's cover flow. Cleanup is going to be to organize and arrange your folders, files, and contents. Arrange by the different ways that you can actually clean them up. You can do it by name, by date, modified, date created, size, kind, or label. Show path is if you wanted to look at that Adobe folder and you were a couple folders in, you could actually click on show path and it'll show you all the path to how to get to that folder. Your status bar, your sidebar, you can hide those. You can hide the toolbar. You can customize your toolbar for different programs, and we'll show you how to do that at some point. And also the view options. The view options, again, this is going to be your icon size. So if you have an icon on your desktop, drag that up here, and you resize. It's going to continue to get larger until it's all the way to the top here of the size. It can go up to 128. And grid spacing is if you have a lot of icons, this is the space that it's going to provide in between each of the icons. I'll pop that in there. This is the text size for the text underneath the icon, and this would put the text into the right or in the bottom of it. This is the item info, so it'll give you whether or not how large the files are, things of that nature. And an icon preview, if it's a picture or a PDF document and you have this checked, it'll actually show you what the document looks like, not just a generic icon for that type of file. And again, arrange by the different ways to arrange.